If a human starts staring at you, run. This warning played throughout every vessel in the Mechron Federation fleet. It broadcast over intercoms in 12 languages, repeating endlessly. The new recruits laughed at first. Vex, a tall medic with beetle-like features from the planet Corbin, wheezed with amusement. Nearby, Shirix, a nervous pilot with crimson scales, clicked his jaw plates in disbelief. Even Commander Grath, a brooding warrior with a face like cracked stone, had scoffed until they showed the footage. The video was grainy, clearly captured by a battlefield drone. It showed a human, short by Mechron standards, wearing only torn camouflage clothing, standing in a bomb crater surrounded by 3 destroyed tanks. The human wasn't holding a weapon or hiding. They were simply staring. The drone zoomed closer. The human's face appeared relaxed, almost bored, but their eyes locked onto the camera like magnetic beams, unblinking, focused, unmoving. After exactly 10 seconds, the video cut to static. Some said it was interference. Others claimed the drone's brain had destroyed itself to escape. Whatever the truth, no one volunteered for scout missions after watching that clip. The Federation's mind scientists tried explaining it. Primal intensity, they called it. Predator conditioning, suggested one expert who afterward refused to leave his quarters. But they were wrong, because no simulation could reproduce what happened when a human locked eyes with you in real life. Captain Jor of the 2nd Regiment learned this the hard way. His team was supposed to take over Earth's northern lands, a simple sweep operation with little resistance expected. The humans were outnumbered and outgunned. According to reports, they were emotionally unstable. That last part, as they discovered, was deeply misunderstood. The team landed near a wooden structure humans called a barn. Inside sat 12 figures, silent, unarmed, just eyes. Every head turned at once when the soldiers entered. 12 pairs of eyes. 12 humans. 12 10-second timers starting together. The first soldier collapsed after 3 seconds, his legs locking as breath caught in his throat. The second tried running and accidentally shot himself with his own weapon. By the time Captain Jor realized what was happening, his men were on the floor, twitching and mumbling about pressure and weight, and those eyes. He ordered a retreat. No one mocked his decision afterward. Now in orbit above Earth, the Mechron Council held an emergency meeting. The humans were successfully fighting occupation not with weapons, they had few left, but with fear, with psychology, with staring contests. Advisor Neil, a tentacled analyst from the ocean world Tempest, cleared his throat and presented his findings. Human eye contact triggers a brain collapse in most intelligent species. They're not just looking, they're challenging you silently, deeply. It is unbearable. The room filled with uncomfortable whispers. They use it deliberately during questioning, in battle, even during peace talks, Neil continued. Our diplomat blinked twice during a meeting, and the human negotiator leaned forward without blinking for 23 seconds. The diplomat signed away 4 moons before passing out. General Voss of the Mountain Warriors wasn't impressed. He slammed his armored fist on the table. So we shoot them before they look at us. Advisor Neil showed him a screen. They've started wearing mirrored eye coverings, but remove them when captured, voluntarily. The general flinched. Down on Earth, Sergeant Maya Rivera wiped dirt from her cracked helmet and nudged her friend. Another group landed in the old farmlands. How long do you think they'll last? Private Liam Chen squinted through binoculars. They're already running, didn't even fire a shot. Maya laughed. We should call this the Eye War, like Cold War but spookier, except it's hot and everyone's afraid of us now. Not us, Liam said. Our eyeballs. He tapped the side of his head. These things are weapons now. Across every resistance cell, humans watched new training videos. How to hold eye contact without blinking, how to spot weakness in alien pupils, how to use silence as ammunition. The technique was simple. Sit still. Lock eyes. Let nature do. The rest, It worked better than guns. Some alien species resisted longer than others. The voidlings, who had no eyes, were immune, but even they found the silence disturbing. The crest warriors tried intimidation tactics, flexing their head frills and puffing neck sacks. The humans just stared harder. One crest captain tore out his own eyes and surrendered. What began as an invasion had become embarrassing. No species wanted to be known as the ones who were stared into giving up. Videos leaked showing towering alien warriors collapsing under human glares. Back on their home planets, alien children mocked them with wide-eyed stares in the streets. Recruitment across the Federation plummeted. In orbit, General Voss fumed. "This is humiliating. We're being defeated by eye contact." Advisor Neil sighed. "It's not just eye contact. It's what's behind it. The humans, they mean it. They don't just look, they dare you. And we don't know what happens if you accept." Voss glared at him. "Then maybe it's time we stared back." Silence fell. Somewhere, a computer beeped nervously. Meanwhile, in a ruined city below, a human sat alone in a folding chair, drinking from a water bottle, watching the sky. He saw the ships coming. He didn't move. He just stared. The new attack came at dawn. 6 ships armed with plasma cannons and shield drones tore through the clouds like angry gods. The assault was supposed to be quick and precise. General Voss personally selected the strike force. Elite warriors engineered for mental strength and equipped with special visors that filtered out human eye patterns. They couldn't technically see human eyes anymore. That was the plan. They landed in what had once been a cornfield. The soil was blackened from previous battles, still warm from last night's fire. General Voss marched out first, his boots crushing ash. His troops formed a circle instantly, disciplined, precise, honorable. In the middle of the field sat a woman. She was barefoot, scarred, and sunburned. A black dog sat beside her. She had a sandwich in one hand and sunglasses in the other. She looked up at Voss and smiled like someone who'd just been offered dessert. "Didn't bring enough ships?" she asked while chewing. Voss stepped forward. "You're surrounded." "Been surrounded before," she replied, then whistled. The dog lay down. "Let's skip to the part where one of you thinks he can take me alive." "Your intimidation won't work," Voss growled. "We're protected." "Friend," the woman said, slowly putting on her sunglasses, "you don't need to see me to feel it." Then she stood. The visor filters worked. Technically, the soldiers could no longer see the whites of her eyes, the intensity of her pupils, the focus that sent lesser species into fits of existential dread. But the woman still stared, her head locked into position with terrifying steadiness. And she never blinked. The silence stretched. Voss's troops shifted nervously. Even though they'd trained for this, it felt like standing before an ancient predator, one that didn't growl or leap, just knew it was going to devour you. One soldier's grip on his weapon tightened unconsciously. "You feel it yet?" the woman asked, still staring. No response. "Like pressure behind your ribs? Like your brain's trying to dig out of your skull?" Voss stepped forward and tore off his visor. "Enough of this!" He stared directly into the woman's face. 8 seconds in, Voss's breathing changed. The woman tilted her head slightly. The expression behind her sunglasses didn't shift, but Voss flinched as if struck. 10 seconds passed. 11. The general broke eye contact and looked away. The humans watching from the trees let out a synchronized, "Ooh!" One raised a homemade scoreboard. Humans 47, Federation 0. Voss turned and stormed back toward his ship. "Gas the valley, burn the field, leave nothing." But by then it was already too late. Hidden cameras in the trees captured the generals. Failure from 7 angles. Within hours, the footage spread through Federation networks like a virus. Analysts tried editing the clip to make it look like a tactical move, but the truth was obvious. He broke eye contact. He lost. The soldiers received new orders. Engage only from distance, never make ground contact, and above all, do not let humans stare at you. The humans didn't care. They weren't chasing aliens. They just waited for the aliens to come to them. Maya. Rivera sat cross-legged on a rooftop, binoculars in her lap, drinking orange juice. She watched 2 more ships retreat before landing, engines screaming. "That's the 5th one today," she noted. New record. Liam, chewing on beef jerky beside her, nodded. "I think we're officially not considered a planet anymore." Maya grinned. "More like a psychological hazard zone. It wasn't just military units anymore. Diplomats refused to land. Trade ships avoided Earth's orbit entirely. Cultural exchange programs were canceled. Even the Star Watcher historians who previously studied battlefield remains declared Earth a no-approach world. The humans didn't mind. They enjoyed the quiet. In the ruins of the old capital, the Resistance had converted the National Library into a base. Shelves once filled with books now held cameras, screens, and racks of sunglasses. Recruits lined up practicing the stare while instructors paced back and forth. "Don't blink until you see their soul shrivel," barked one trainer. "What? If I blink by accident? Then you owe me 50 push-ups and 1 sincere apology to your ancestors." Every soldier learned the 4 levels of the stare. Level 1, basic eye contact, effective on civilians and new recruits. Level 2, sustained stare with complete stillness, triggers dizziness and mild panic. Level 3, predatory head tilt, causes confusion, fear, and muscle lock. Level 4, sunglasses removal combined with silence. Results vary, but usually involves fainting or immediate retreat. By the 3rd week, human spirits soared. Alien spirits, however, plummeted. In a dim strategy room aboard the flagship Dark, "Reach!" Advisor Neil addressed a shrinking panel of commanders. His voice, once full of confident analysis, had become exhausted sighs. "We've tried everything. Noise fields, fake faces, eyeless machines, nothing works. They just wait." "They're not even advancing," muttered Admiral Kresh. "Because they don't need to," Neil replied. "The longer we fight, the less we understand them. It's not about eyes. It's about certainty." He turned to a paused image on screen. A woman sitting on a burned-out car, smiling slightly, not moving, not blinking. Neil tapped the image. "This isn't aggression. It's calm. And somehow that frightens us more than any weapon." The room fell silent. "We used to laugh at them," Neil whispered. "Now we can't even look them in the face." The Federation tried one final plan. Project Nightfall. The concept was simple. Remove the human element entirely. Artificial intelligence would handle all planetary operations. No eyes, no faces, no weaknesses. Fleets of drones with automated targeting, synthetic strategy modules, and 0 living crew. Cold, efficient, merciless. It lasted less than a week. The drones arrived in formation, a cloud of mechanical death blanketing Earth's atmosphere. Cities braced themselves. Resistance fighters took cover. For once, the humans didn't meet the enemy with stares. They met them with recordings, audio pulses, hundreds of them, blasted through the electromagnetic spectrum. Not language, not music, just silence. The kind of silence that made you feel watched. The kind that came before a predator pounced. Then came the images. The drone's processors, connected to a central network, were fed streams of human faces, eyes unblinking, pupils locked forward. Not aggressive, just present. A stillness that destroyed logic patterns. The network choked. Tactical decisions looped. Attack commands became circular. The drones hovered aimlessly, frozen by something they couldn't define. Then, one by one, they fell from the sky. Across the world, humans stepped out of shelters and watched the wreckage rain down. No one cheered. They just stood and stared. That was when the Federation knew they couldn't win. Not because of numbers or weapons, but because of humans themselves. Humans weren't fighting to conquer or revenge. They weren't showing off. They weren't angry. They just refused to back down, quietly, persistently, with eyes that said everything and nothing. Within days, the Council voted to withdraw, not just from Earth, but from the entire star system. A classified message circulated among senior leaders. It was brief. Avoid human contact. Psychological incompatibility. Exposure causes breakdown. Earth was reclassified as a zone of unusual sovereignty. No travel, no settlement, no observation. The war was never officially declared. It was never even written into the records, but every species in the galaxy knew. In remote bars on distant moons, veterans whispered about people who never blinked. On academic worlds, scholars debated the neurological effects of the human gaze. And in the dark halls of military bases, training was rewritten, not to counter violence, but to resist attention. Back on Earth, Maya Rivera stood alone in a field where the first ship had landed months ago. The grass was growing again. Her dog ran circles around her feet, tongue out, tail high. Maya knelt and scratched the dog's head. "That's it, buddy. They're gone." The dog barked at nothing in particular. Maya looked up at the stars where the enemy once floated. There was no hate in her expression, no anger, just the same quiet confidence that had broken fleets. "Maybe next time," she murmured. "They'll say hello first." And then she smiled. The kind of smile that made even the stars feel they should look away. Years passed. Earth rebuilt slowly. The scars of invasion healed under new growth, and humanity gradually returned to its former ways. But something had changed. They knew they weren't alone, and they knew their greatest weapon. In training centers, around the world, children learned the art of the stare alongside mathematics and science. It became part of human culture, a quiet strength, a shared secret. 10 years after the last ship fell, a lone vessel appeared in Earth's orbit. Unlike the warships that came before, this one was small, unmarked, and made no attempt to hide. It hovered there for 3 days before sending a message. "We come to talk. We come to learn." The world's leaders debated the response. Some wanted to ignore it. Others suggested shooting it down immediately. But Maya Rivera, now a general in Earth's Defense Force, had another idea. "Let them come," she said, "but on our terms." The meeting place was a simple wooden platform in an open field, the same field where Maya had faced down General Voss a decade earlier. A single chair sat in the center. No weapons, no technology, no shields. Just a woman and her dog, waiting. The alien ship landed a kilometer away. A single figure emerged, tall, silver-skinned, with no visible eyes. It walked slowly toward the platform, stopping at the base of the steps. "I am Emissary Thel of the Galactic Concord," it said in perfect English. "I come unarmed." Maya nodded. "Why are you here?" "To understand," the emissary replied. "Your species has become legend. The creatures who defeated the Mechron Federation," with a look. "The beings who stare without blinking. We have come to learn your secret." Maya smiled and removed her sunglasses. "There is no secret," she said. "Only certainty." The emissary tilted its head. "I don't understand." "When we look at you," Maya explained, "we see you completely, not as an enemy to fear or a prize to win, but as you are. Most species can't bear to be truly seen." The emissary was quiet for a long moment. Then, slowly, panels on its face slid apart, revealing 3 small violet eyes. "Our ancestors taught us to hide our gaze," it said. "To look away is to show respect." "On Earth," Maya replied, "to look directly is to show truth." The emissary's middle eye blinked once. "May I try?" Maya nodded and sat perfectly still. The emissary looked into her eyes. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. Its breathing quickened, but it didn't look away. At 10 seconds, Maya smiled. "You're the first." The emissary's shoulders relaxed. "It is uncomfortable, but not impossible." That night, under a sky filled with stars, humans and aliens sat around campfires. They talked, they listened, and sometimes they practiced looking at each other without fear. Maya found the emissary standing alone, watching the moons. "What will you tell your people?" she asked. "That the legends were true," Thel replied. "Humans can break minds with a look, but also that there is more to learn here than to fear." "And what did you learn?" Maya asked. The emissary turned its 3 eyes toward her. "That courage is not in fighting, but in seeing clearly. That truth demands we face it directly." Maya nodded and looked up at the stars. "Welcome to Earth, Emissary Thel. Next time, just say hello first." In the years that followed, Earth became neither a battlefield nor a forbidden zone, but a place of pilgrimage. Species from across the galaxy came to learn the human stare, not as a weapon, but as a bridge. Some couldn't manage more than a few seconds. Others learned to hold the gaze for minutes, and in the galaxy's diplomatic manuals, a new protocol appeared at the top of every chapter on human relations. When meeting humans, maintain eye contact. They consider it respectful. But remember, if you cannot bear their gaze, there is no shame in looking away. Just be prepared to explain why. Maya Rivera, in her final years, would often sit in her field with her dog's descendants, watching ships land and depart. Visitors would sometimes ask her if she ever regretted using the stare as a weapon. "We never saw it as a weapon," she would reply. "Just as the truth. We simply looked at the universe until it looked back." The last page of her memoir, stored in the rebuilt National Library, contained only a single sentence. "The power was never in our eyes, but in our refusal to look away from what matters."